Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, cool. All right, we get ready to start a show. All right. Pretty deflated. Oh, shit. All right, cool. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me get the actual presentation. I'm your host, Rap Raven. This is the Black Betterment broadcast. I'm very lazy today. There he is. All right, cool. Welcome to the 198th show. So don't forget to tell a friend we're live and all that good stuff. And I've sent the link. I'm gonna see if I can I not post it here? What if I was to why can't I do that inside of the because I'm not logged in on it. That's why. Fair enough, makes sense. Cool. All right, so welcome to the 128th show. Big up Amene Goddess, very important contributor to the Black Bear broadcast. That's right, 100 and I say 28, 198, 198. So you can tell I'm sleepy. And yeah, so we have to do something special on the 200th episode. We'll try to get all the guests back, or at least the prominent guests, have a nice discussion, or something else. Time goes by so quick, so you try to plan something. I mean, there was an idea to go through the old videos and take up clips, but I mean, we do like 3 hour shows and my machine, my team on my machine is actually blowing up. I had to ring up the maintenance guy today for Mac, so it's getting silly. It's getting quite silly, but yeah. So we gotta do something special on the 200th, and you can be a part of that. So what are we doing? I'm actually going to have I not shared? Oh, I have, yeah. Don't forget to follow the Black Berman Building Instagram. So we always start. We talk about the triple tragedies, which is white supremacy, anti-black racism, and the Ma'arthur. And unfortunately, these triple tragedies has caused a double dilemma, which is that we are despised and we are disorganized. You know what I mean? Oh, there, that's very, very problematic. As I was speaking, I'm going to download it. I saw a woman ask a question: why are black people hated everywhere we go? That's a very powerful statement. I'm going to download it and put it somewhere. But we have a black Berman answer to that one. So yeah, with a double dilemma, we have to have a single solution. That single solution is, oh my days, look, the thing shifted. Oh man, I've got to fix that. And that is Black Betterment is a lifestyle of black people continuously helping black people. Let me fix that later. Um, that's right. So then we have two versions. We're gonna actually go over that today. There are two versions of Black Betterment, and we're gonna make it easy for you guys. We have the complete version and the casual version. Look at that, very easy. Complete versus casual. We're going to break that down if it needs any breaking down. That's all. Where are we? All right, but then we're going to oh, come on, PC. So when we focus, is that actually the so the pieces now hit the tracking mode. So this is something I'm gonna have to really complain and reinstall everything and find out why it does this. It's annoying. I'm actually I just feel like giving up and going to bed. But anyway, yeah. So where are we? Triple Triumph, Double Dilemma. Yeah. So we focus on black families, black economics, and black health. That's the and we spend a lot of time on that. These are the triple triumphs that we're trying to achieve. All right. So what is today's show about? Don't forget we sent out the link. The link. So don't forget to follow that. And I'm going to try to tap it up in a minute so it's stuck. Uh, I wonder if Brother Stanley will agree we are hated everywhere we go. It'd be good to see any people's opinion on that. But don't forget discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment when you jump in the forums. We try to maintain that. Black people, we are trained to dislike each other. So, we have to have a code of conduct to minimize that, to minimize anxiety and all that good stuff. So I'm trying to skip on this page, but I can't. There we go. Yeah, don't use derogatory language. There we go. We're on this one. So black marriage. We discuss if higher marriage rates in the black community can improve collective betterment and useful definitions. Complete versus casual black betterment. We discuss the difference between complete versus casual black betterment. So what I'm going to do is going to be a nightmare. It really will be a nightmare, as it always is. Let me let me play some random. So as we start, before we actually get into the topics, we look at random videos, which I'm sure my machine is going to struggle to do. As I can, I mean, this got, I mean, what is happening? This the machine is clearly broken, right? Because this is a very powerful machine, and it can't do the most basic of tasks. I can't stand having to bring things to get fixed. If you know, it's just annoying. Anyway, I'm going to try to click on this video, see if it opens. A video. Oh gosh. There we go. Video. Come on. This is why shortcut keys are important. This mouse and stuff is annoying. Don't forget, tell a friend we're live. I mean, found out this is going at the killer speed of a millipede now. Well, a little bit slower than that. Come on. There. No. So I'll try painting a picture. Basically, I have to press a button, right? But the mouse is tracking, and when I let go, it keeps on. It's like it has a ghost in it that makes it go past the button. This one dealing with. There we go. I finally clicked on it. Now let's see if we can. Oh, come on. That was the wrong one. All right. You know, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to you about. Let me talk to you about ideas for. Oh, this is actually tedious. This is actually tedious. We're going to talk to you about ideas about the 200th show. And you know what we could do? Maybe just a community talking together. That might be cool. Reflect on ideas that have developed, ideas that have been altered, ideas that didn't work. You know, what we've learned, that good stuff. So that'd be cool. So, but I don't know, mate. Like, I now need to complain. Oh gosh. All right, whatever. So I'm trying to open videos. So, but the good thing, you know what? Forget this show. I can't be bothered. So I'm gonna literally. What I've done is I've uploaded the old videos. So I'm gonna come on. There you go. Big up, man. Got it. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play. Last week we never got time to listen to a brother. He's got an 18-minute video. It might take that long to fix this. Big up, brother Dominic. Very important contributor. Got a brother. He was speaking, but we never got time to listen to a brother in Birmingham. He was attacked with his pregnant wife, and I think younger cousins or kids as well. Something. This is annoying me. I can't get the button. There you go. Come on. This is. I'm now hitting the machine just so you know that. I'm just gonna listen to this guy, this brother here. Oh. I don't know. This is I'm gonna press play on this and I'm gonna reset it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some dangerous stuff here, family. And I think when I leave, when I log back in, the machine will just do it. So I'm gonna press play and it should just play. This is very dangerous what I'm doing, by the way, because if it goes wrong, I hold on. Maybe I'll do it by my phone. Can I do it by phone? Let me log in on my phone. Let me log in and then see what happens. Or whatever. I'm gonna see if I can click this button and then literally reset my machine while you listen to this great talking. But when I tell you this is like an adventure here to press play, this is embarrassingly bad. I'm literally taking this to the Mac store tomorrow. I'm gonna go to the Mac store tomorrow and just slam this on the table. This is a joke. Like this has 32 gigabytes of RAM. This should not be behaving this way. This is a very powerful machine. It's my family. I'm just need this. You know, maybe I'm actually being trolled by anti-black racists. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the actual thing. Oh, God. All right, cool. What I'm trying to do is play one long video while I reset my machine. but the way it's moving, it's like someone actually is controlling it. You know how weird that is. Could that be a thing? Let me see. Could that be a thing? I wonder. That this is very ended. Okay, it's almost there. Almost there. If this press, as soon as I press play this, I'm literally logging out. So as soon as you see the brother's face, I'm almost there. I'm going slow as anything. Add, add, add. Go, go. This should be it. Then I'm going to literally reset this hunk of junk machine. There we go. Please play.
Superstore. As you can see, the attack was further up by the Lloyd's
So,
Bank,
family, I'm just going to let this
further
carry
up
on play
on
from
Everton
last
High
week.
Street.
He's talking about what happened.
So that's not me in that video, right? So just want to clear it up. We've tried, my team and myself, we've tried to reach out to the brother in that video, but we haven't had no success thus far. But you never know. Hopefully, if he sees this, he'll get in contact with us, etc. But we have tried to reach him, but we haven't had no success to that. Also, I want to say thank you to everybody that's turned out over the last couple of weeks and supporting the movement and turning up outside the international store in Everton High Street. Thank you so much for turning up and for showing myself and the black community the support. You know, everybody that came out from all community, we thank you. All right. Also, want to give a massive thank you to Desmond Jadu and Charlie Williams for their support of myself and my family throughout this time, my partner, my sister, etc. And also want to send a massive shout to the young man who everybody in the community is saying deserved hero status, hero status, and he does. And for those who still want to contribute to that young man, please get in contact with me. I've had a few gift vouchers, etc., which I will pass on to his parents because I do check on him. Every week I make sure checking him, make sure that he's in the best that he can be. You get what I mean, given the circumstances, etc. We have checked on him, and you know,
Tell your friend we're live.
so anybody else that wants to contribute and give vouchers, etc., or even whatever you want to do for him, monetary wise, whatever, that's fine. Get in contact, and we'll put you directly in contact with the gentleman as a show of appreciation because he deserves it well. And listen, if I could give him the world right now, I would, because of how he protected my partner. You get what I mean? So saying that, for those who are looking to give this young man something, please
Mic check, mic check. So I'm back, family. Sorry about that. Yeah. So you know what's funny? Yeah, it's like everything's now working smoothly, right? And I'm seeing an icon at the top, which means it's recording, right? I'm just going to quickly put this link in before my machine shuts down and goes mad. So this is very annoying. But all right, click on that. Click on that. I'm trying to actually pin this thing. I'm gonna do it one more time. Copy. 1,000 forgivenesses, family. I'm just posting this. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. How annoying. Has it logged me out? Is that what it's done? Anyway, whatever. Allow. Sorry, but yeah. This is the most troubling UX I've ever had. Because it's logged me out, that's why. Alright, so either way, whatever. You don't gonna get that. We can't have it. Cool. If you want to join the thing, it's there. But let me turn that crap off. Turn that off. Mic check. Fine. Sorry, family. Yeah, let me try again. Everything is literally locked off. But now everything's moving crazy fast. And no, I don't do no conspiracy theories because that would be silly. No, I'll do that. Anyway, let's do what we're doing. So, where was our thing? So, yeah, now we've got things working out. I'll go for the normal show. So let's look at what videos we've got for us to do a quick scan through. Nope, no one see that. Let's learn about sundown towns in America. Why got bearings? Let me remove that for a bit. Big up everyone who's live in the place.
For 6 years now, and it just shocks me that in 2024 I'm still being told that there are certain towns that I can't deliver in. And when I ask why, they say they're sorry that people are the way they are, but I can't deliver there. And it's crazy because when I first started at FedEx in 2018, and my supervisor there, I was in Springfield, Illinois, and she told me, like, you can't go there. And I was like, huh? She's like, you can't go there. And I ain't too much think of it. And so I was delivering one day in a different town, and I had a late pickup. So I had a few hours to spare. So I'm like, I'll just drive over to the next town. It's like 12 minutes away. I'm like, I'll just go to the Walmart. You can always kill time at Walmart. I drive over to the Walmart. I walk in, and the looks I got made me immediately turn around, go back to my truck, and drive, the little 12, 13 minutes back to the town that I was in. And I parked in an abandoned parking spot, and I just sat in that abandoned parking spot for like 2.5 hours. And yeah, she's like, I'm sorry, but that's just the way they are. And then when I went to Wisconsin, I was cool. I always delivered to the rural areas, but then I had a guy, talk to me crazy, like.
Oh, so that's the sundown. Is that ended? Oh gosh. Yes, that's the sundown towns in America. It's places where that you can't go if you're black. Well, this sister, she delivers stuff, so they're not even expecting her to deliver her work there. So quite consistently on code, anti-black racist behavior there. This little circular the thing that we want to hear.
The Jewish community turns over 12 times before
their
beliefs. In the Indian community, 10 times. In the African American community, less than 1.
Also in the Black UK community.
As it lands, you can't wait to take the money and spend it somewhere else.
So we always say that, but it's something that we have to try to be aware of. What's that question? Are there okay? Sorry, I'm not. I look at my glasses, but let me just turn over. Everything's just not working here. Father and son. What's that one?
His fathers and sons live in.
That's an interesting thing here. This is the.
Sons live in very different worlds.
How often do you think about being black?
Every day.
How often do you think about being white?
I really don't.
For parents like Daniel and Solomon, the question, how much of this hurt do you expose your child to?
I haven't seen the videos, but I mean, I've definitely heard about the shootings.
Did you see the video of the man who died in Louisiana?
Yes.
The man who died in Minnesota?
Yes.
How did that hit you?
Pretty hard. It was like, I guess, sad to think about. Like, what if that happened to my dad?
11-year-old Solomon Jr., a serious child, a good student. But his father worries there could be a moment when that won't matter.
For some folk, they'll say, oh, you're scaring the boy. You are making him paranoid. Mm-hmm. You say what?
I say I'm making him prepared. We are not people who hate the police. It's when you go someplace else and the people only know that you're black. They don't know that Solomon's an honor roll student. All they know is that you're black. And so I want my son to be prepared for that fact.
Listen for the differences in word association.
Hoodie.
Hoodie. I don't know.
Go grab the hoodie sort of a thing. Like, I don't think of it as being a negative connotation.
No.
Hoodie.
I think about Trayvon Martin.
These
All right, this showing you the different dynamics of what people in America think. Right? Oh, come on, man. How much time do I have to log in for this? Come on. Done. All right. All right, cool. Let's get rid of these two things. Okay, allow. Account extended. Yeah, allow. Whatever. Boom. I mean, I'm just trying to log in to do this thing. It's now getting bumped. I removed that from the thing. All right, let's see another video to do a case study in it. Are there initiatives of creating like-minded communities in the UK where you all live among another? There was when there was like there were places where black people were pretty much made community, but not as intense as it would say be in America. Saying, especially when Russia that happened, where people will live in the same blocks, but it isn't really like that. It's not really like one type of ethnic group. I think maybe in Birmingham it is more concentrated like that. Let's see what's brother's saying here about media while I try to log in. Come on.
Your thoughts of blacks creating media. Example, film, television, authors, books.
Necessary as long as we don't, again, come with white concepts. You know what they used to call those black exploitation films. I mean, if our films are full of sex and violence, etc., I don't see what the difference is. I really see no clear difference. The difference must not be in form, color, it must be in content, in essence. We must show that when we do a film, this film is instructive, it teaches something, it doesn't amuse you and excite you and leave you with nothing. If I go to see a film on Malcolm X, when I walk out of that movie, I must have more hatred of injustice. When I walk out of that movie, thanks to the life of Malcolm X, I must seek to transform myself to make myself more perfect, as did Malcolm X. If I walk out of any film that I saw on Malcolm X, I do not have more hatred against injustice. I do not see the necessity to transform myself to a more perfect human being to serve my people. I did not see a film on Malcolm X. I saw entertainment.
Mm-hmm. What would be your comments on some of the newcomers, Spike Lee, Josh Singleton?
The American capitalist system gives vice as entertainment. Well, anyway, as a human being, I know you don't spread your vices, you just spread your virtues.
All right, so he said some good stuff there, brother Kwame. Let's write something down.
Etc. I don't see what the difference is. I really see no.
He's talking about when he goes to, if you make films, what you should leave. This is very important.
Clear difference. The difference must not be in form, color, it must be in content, in essence. We must show that when we do a film, this film is instructive, it teaches something, it doesn't amuse you and excite you and leave you with nothing. If I go to see a film on Malcolm X, when I walk out of that movie, I must have more hatred of injustice. When I walk out of that movie, thanks to the life of Malcolm X, I must seek to transform myself to make myself more perfect, as did Malcolm X. If I walk out of any film that I saw on Malcolm X, I do not have more hatred against injustice. I do not see the necessity to transform myself to a more perfect human being to serve my people. I did not.
That's the important word. More perfect human being to serve my people. Good little quote there. That's very good. Great freaking pen. More. This pain is absolutely broke down. More perfect human being, or whatever. There you go. It works. Yeah, good. Write quotes down. That's a nice one, those. Be able to brother there. And yeah, we all agree. That if you're watching anything about some of the ancestors of the icons and that, and it's not really written from that perspective. Don't know how valuable it could be, really. You might just be more examined.
The dollar is the typical.
We'll listen to this one, and then we'll start the show, I guess.
Is the typical amount of wealth a Black family has in America for every $1 a typical white family has.
Just looking at America and African American at the moment, but very similar here in Canada.
Yes. And this is data from the Federal Reserve.
Louise, why write this story in the first place?
Well, Ebony and I were working together at the Wall Street Journal in the summer of 2020. And as colleagues and as friends, we started having many of the same conversations I'm sure you had and many people you know had, which is, wow, where do things stand on race today? And in particular, since we were at the Wall Street Journal, we were wondering, where do things stand on race and money? And so we read some books together. We looked up some data. I'll never forget when we crunched the data and came up with how many cents on the dollar it was. I called up Ebony and I said, did you realize this figure? And we thought it was fascinating. And we soon found out by looking around that there was not a book on Black-white wealth gap through history. It didn't exist coming to the present. And we decided we were the perfect pair to write it.
Click the link in the bio to get the book.
All right, cool. Boom, 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 boom. All right, cool. Good stuff. Big up the family. Don't forget to tell a friend we're live. We're still with you despite having some horrendous technical issues. But we move on. All right. So what's the first? So let me share the present. Present screen. Share. Don't show this again, please. Window. Here we go. Document there. So what's the topic? So black marriage. Useful. All right, let's do the useful. Let me do waffle for a bit, and then big up, brother Kinkel, very important contributor to the show. So we'll start with the topic. Second one: complete versus casual black betterment. This is more so like useful definitions. And so when you're debating or talking, so I think we should look at black because obviously we say that's one of the challenges with say pro-blackness and very extreme direct. Any form of black empowerment is sometimes silos are made where people separate, and that's important to separate, to be honest. But it's almost complete separation amongst black people or because of ideology. So I think it's always good to have words and ways to show a entry level concept and an expert level concept, and see how those all interact. So I would say that we should say there is a complete version of black betterment, the complete black betterment, and a casual version. So, and naturally, the ticks are there. So, the complete version is promotion and practice of black love, trying to partner or marry a black partner of the opposite sex, dedication to black economics, teaching black people important skills, joins or creates of black networks, promote black betterment, promote high principle behavior for black people, and does at least one tangible activity that is dedicated to black betterment continuously. And then you have the casual one, which, for the most part, it could be all of them, apart from, say, and this is what we're saying, the importance of black love, right? Like, you could practice all these other ones, but if you don't promote black love, then we will then still relegate it down to a casual version because of the importance of that concept, right? But then one thing that you have to do, you have to be dedicated to at least one activity. So there's at least one tangible activity that is dedicated to black betterment continuously. So that is at the very least the most casual you can be. I think at a certain point, black betterment is a show and tell concept where it's like you can demonstrate what you're doing so others can help. So sometimes you talk to people and it's the activities that we do. It's like, yeah, I'm pro-black or I'm this and that, and it's like, well, yeah, but I don't need to declare what I'm doing, and I get that. That makes sense. But at a certain point, when you're talking that, it almost becomes a defense mechanism where someone just says they're trying to critique what you're doing. And then you're asking, well, can you demonstrate what you do that we can learn from? And they go, oh, I don't need to tell you nothing. We want to have a culture where we want to tell people, well, I'm making an attempt to create a school, or I'm trying to teach little girls how to braid their hair, or I'm trying to teach young boys how to become men or whatever, right? And then allowing someone else to go, oh, that sounds amazing. Can I help? So creating a culture of that concept, right? So I think we can do that by literally saying there is a complete version of black betterment and there's a casual version, and respecting both, respecting that not everyone's going to be able to be a complete black betterer, right? No one's a complete black betterment, person, which we call black betterer. They're going to have to be what we call black betterment builders, and this is the casual version of black betterment. But when it comes to really the high echelons and trying to really govern, we are looking for the complete people who practice the complete version to work together, because that's what it is. Eye to eye, seeing, on the same page. Very important concepts. So that's my big up Sister She Reigns as well. That's my crash course in the. I don't start tracking now. Don't get me angry if it is. Whatever. You know what? Now it's tracking. Let me actually see. What on my machine, because I've got my activities monitor up. Ah, do you know what's funny, family? Hello. You know, family. This is interesting. I think I know why the machine is playing around. Yeah, I think I understand this now. I get it. I think, man, I think someone's actually messing around in Steam in the Steam software, mate. The software I use. I'm gonna have to do some research about this. This is for entertainment. So, all right. So that might be the thing, that I might actually be somewhat hacked by anti-black racist. Yeah, it says stop sharing. So what? Oh, what? Unless it's seeing me share my. Is that what it is? I'm just gonna get rid of this thing here. I just want to see side. Stop screen share. Don't do my rubbish. Maybe this is the glitch. Stop screen share, because it's registered as a screen share on this app. Stop screen share. Stop. It is. Hello. Yes. Okay. I think I'm working it out now. This is me doing my Columbo, or the black equivalent. What's the black equivalent of Columbo? What's that brother called? The British brother. Idris Elba. He had his own show. What was that called? That one. It's quite good one. You should watch it. He plays a detective. My memory's rubbish, but if you remember, put in the thing. Yeah. I'm doing my version of that. I've just really because my machine's now moving decent. So when I share screen, it's actually messing up. That's what it is. It's that. So there's some kind of conflict between StreamYard, share screen. Could it be what? That's madness. Could it be because it's such a big because the document's so big. That's what it must be. It must be the size of the document, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's the case, let me see if what I should then do. So I'm talking as because I'm trying to do my Columbo or the black guy, I forgot his name, version of that. And I think what I might have to do then is hotspot. Yeah. Sorry about this, I'm trying to work out this because it's very annoying. I'm trying to talk to you guys and the machine's going at like the speed of an antelope. It's just ridiculous. Or a one-legged antelope. I don't know, whatever. All right, cool. Turn that on. All right, good. We're gonna have to run some tests now. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna play a video while it doesn't. If it logs me out, I can log back in, right? Yeah. So, maybe not. Video. Let's get these videos up. So the video has to upload, maybe. Right. So let's see number two topic about. Let's go to marriage now. I think I finished on the whole complete casual blah 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 stuff. So I'm gonna go to the thing.
Many black women.
That's me. All right. Marriage, black marriage. Here we go. Let's say this, brother, for this page as well. I'll put it in the group if I can find it.
Groups to be married. And in my opinion, this is one of the, if not the most important causal factor behind our lack of wealth and prosperity and progress as a people in this country. So digging into the data, this is a table based on the 2021 census. You'll see here that this shows you the proportion of the population who are married in each ethnic group. And you'll see there a very, very clear picture. You see the Asian group. So you've got Pakistanis, 62% of those, 63% of those are married. 62% of Indians, 61% of Bangladeshis or Bengalis Other Asians, 58%. Chinese, 54%. Over on the far right-hand side, you've got the Arabs at 56%. Then you've got a significant drop down to the white populations, who hover around about the 40 to 45% there. White British people there, 44% of them are married. Then you go down to black ethnic groups. Now, black Africans are most likely out of all black people in the UK to be married. 40% of black African people here in the UK are married. Then there's a big old drop down there to other black and black Caribbeans there, around about 26%. What that means, only 1 in 4 black, other people who are classified as other black or black Caribbean.
Remove, and add again.
Is there around.
Can you hear me, family?
Then you've got a significant drop down to the white populations, who hover around about the 40 to 45% there.
Yeah.
White British people there, 44% of them are married. Then you go down to black ethnic groups. Now, black Africans are the most likely.
I just had to stop the thing because I just changed the net speed. Let's see if that works. Mic check, mic check. Oh, it's making noise, so unless the whole thing's been mute, I don't know why it wouldn't work. Can you hear me? No, people can't hear me.
Black people in Britain.
Let me see. Is this? Can this make noise? That make noise. So let's say this one now, though.
Groups to be married, and if we hear that he's 54%.
So I'm just going to remove this and then try to do it again. It's running smoothly. Oh, you can. Good. Sorry about this. I'm actually trying to, in real time, work out, because I honestly thought I was being hacked. Like, well, I realized that the icons I was seeing was because of the share screen. I'm very paranoid when it comes to like things slowing down. There we go. Mary, let's see if this works better now.
Least population, 1% of Bangladesh.
Right, so let's go back to the
those, 63% of those are married. 62% of Indians, 61% of Bangladeshis or Bengalis. Other Asians, 58%.
Big up, brother Dominic, contributed to the show, gave the video.
And Chinese, 54%. Over on the far right-hand side, you've got the Arabs at 56%. Then you've got a significant drop down to the white populations, who hover around about the 40 to 45% there. White British people there, 44% of them are married. Then you go down to black ethnic groups. Now, black Africans are the most likely out of all black people in the UK to be married. 40% of black African people here in the UK are married. Then there's a big old drop.
So, as we know, even though overall black population of marriage is low, the African community has a 40% over the Afro-Caribbean, which has 26%.
Down there to other black and black Caribbeans there, around about 26%. What that means is that only 1 in 4 other people who are classified.
So just to break down, in the UK, the way it works is that black people from the colonizations, they group together. So there's a generic, which is one generic is the whole Caribbean. The other generic is the whole of Africa or Black Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. And then the other, I guess they reserve that for maybe African Americans, Black Canadians, Afro Brazilians, that kind of stuff. Maybe even Aborigine blacks. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Melanesians as well. I don't know. But generally, it's there for people to tick. But some people, I guess some people might tick on that other black if they're born in the UK through African parentage or Caribbean parentage, but they don't identify as Afro-Caribbean or African. They might identify as Black British, but that's not an option when it comes to the racial characterization. So they might pick Black other. So that percentage of 26% and the Black Caribbeans of around 20%, both are not being married, whatever, or married at a low percentage. Big up, Melanated Goddess, Black Betterment to yourself, sister.
Black Betterment, Brother Raven, and everyone in the chat. everyone listening. Very, very interesting. Um,
Yes.
it's kind of
If you want
sad
to
when
say
you were
anything,
talking about the numbers
yes,
of
very
Black
slim.
Caribbeans
Yes.
that are getting married. Is It's kind of sad. I was wondering if you think that Caribbean people are less trusting of the um the actual system. So that doesn't necessarily mean that their households are single parent led, but that they aren't seeking their relationships to be documented via the government. Do you think that there's a level of mistrust, and or do you think that that's actually reflective of the types of relationship dynamics that are in the Caribbean community?
I think there might be numbers of that kind of mindset and stuff. But I also think that generally Caribbean men are not getting married, or if they are getting married, it's to European women. I think
That's what I mean.
like
When you say getting married, that means more so legally, right? So like
yeah.
um so what I'm saying is that do you think that that is due to a lack of trust in the actual system? Because I know like in America, you know, they will say like the black woman is the least married. But that doesn't necessarily mean that black women are single. It just means that they are in relationships where, you know, there is a real lack of trust of the system. Like most people have agreements for child support. They don't actually go to court and get child support, but that doesn't mean that men aren't taking care of their children. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this whole undocumented realm where you can't actually say how often this is happening because it's not being recorded. But I guess I'm offering that just because it's not recorded doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah, no, and there
Yeah.
is that could be the thing. I think this gentleman, he's looking at it as the benefits of marriage, and I'll let him say it, whatever, and why that might, why if that is what you're saying is true, if that is the practice, why that practice might not be working. I think sadly, I don't see any kind of like strategy of marriage or ownership or community from any black, especially Caribbean. So I suspect whatever this gentleman reports is to be true. So let's have a listen and let's see if we can work it out.
As other black or black Caribbean are married. What I find interesting is that if you look at the mixed ethnicities, you see the same pattern. So the most likely out of the mixed people who are mixed to be married are the white and Asian at 41%. Still a lot lower than their full Asian counterparts, if you want to use that kind of language, but still higher than most black groups. And then look at this here. You've got white and black African. They're at 34% of those are married. And then white and black Caribbean, 28% of those are married. So it's a similar kind of gap between the white and black Africans and the white and black Caribbeans. The black African / white people are more likely to be married than the white / black Caribbean people are. So there's a very, very big difference between the marriage rates in the black community versus the marriage rates in every single other community, particularly when you're looking at black Caribbeans and other black. So on to the question of this video, what difference does it make? Does it actually matter that people are not getting married, that black people are not getting married anywhere near as frequently as other people are getting married? Well, in my opinion, it really does. First of all, it's really important to understand what marriage is. Marriage is one of the most important foundations of family and of community and of society. In a marriage, you have two people, first of all, who have come together. They've come together to make a commitment to each other and to their offspring, if they're going to have children, that they're going to really work on this. They're signaling to themselves and to everybody else, and they're connecting themselves institutionally, if you like, from that moment onwards. Marriage is a unique form of commitment between two individuals, first and foremost. When two people get married, you have a pooling of assets. The husband brings their assets. The wife brings their assets, brings not, and when I say assets, by the way, I'm not just talking about money. I'm not just talking about material assets. I'm not just talking about products and items. I'm talking about all of the assets, the cultural assets, the intellectual assets, the knowledge assets, emotional assets. All basically, these two people are bringing everything that they have together. You can achieve a lot more. What's the saying? Together, everyone achieves more. In a team, everyone achieves more. One, as I mentioned in my video about wealth, black wealth and the black middle class, you can have as many individual rich people as you want, but if they're not collaborating, it doesn't matter. And this is what marriage is for. Marriage is the number one means by which people come together, pool what they have, pool their resources, pool their assets, their knowledge, expertise for a greater impact in life than they would have on it if they were individual, just one on their own. Importantly, marriage is a commitment, is a connection between two families. And families are the foundation of any society. So when people get married, this is how it should be anyway. It should be the case that the family of one partner in the marriage and the family of the other partner in the marriage, they're also uniting. And that's how you strengthen ties between families. We can talk about how you look at the royals and this, that, and the other. All their marriages are very strategic. They don't just marry someone because of love and romance. They marry because they want to unite two houses, two clans, make peace between two warring houses, for example. And on a more mundane level, it is about families joining together, because as families join together, as families unite with one another, and it's of course manifested in the children of that are born. Then again, I was talked about the pooling of the resources. The pooling of the family resources takes place as well. And they're able to work together, unite together. And that's the foundation for a community. That's the foundation for a healthy society. And of course, marriages create a safe space for children to be nurtured in. Let's look at some of the life outcomes for children based on whether or not their parents were married or not married or cohabiting. You might be surprised by some of these figures. So these are figures from the Millennium Cohort Study. This is a large scale study in the UK where they're following thousands of people over several years. That's what a cohort study is when you follow a group of people throughout their life or for over many decades to see what kinds of things happen in their lives. And this research paper looks at whether or not children whose parents were married, cohabiting or never married had higher or lower levels of mental health problems. So among those children whose parents had stayed together, those parents who had been married, around about 1 in 5, so 20% of children had a high level of mental health problems, any mental health problems. Amongst those parents who stayed together but were cohabiting, that goes up to between 25% and 30%. Even where parents had stayed together, if they were cohabiting, the children were more likely to have a high level of mental health problems than if the parents had been married. And then you look at those children who had split up. What's really interesting for me here is that even amongst those parents who had split up, the children whose parents had been married before they split up, yes, it's higher than if the parents had stayed together. About 1 in 3 of those had a high level of mental health problems. But that's only slightly higher than even those children whose parents had stayed together but were only cohabiting. And then you look at of course, as you'd expect, amongst those children whose parents had split up and whose parents had only been cohabiting when they were together, it goes right the way up to nearly 40% of children having a high level of mental health problems. So these data make it really clear that marriage is very good for children. As I said at the top, in my opinion, this is one of the most important factors behind our problems as black people here in this country. Now, the next question, of course, to follow up is why? Why are black people so less likely to get married than other ethnic groups? Let me know your thoughts in the comments about that particular question, and I'll gather some of those comments together and do some research for a future video looking into that, why black people in Britain don't marry. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video. If you want to see more of these kinds of conversations, do like the video. And also check out these other videos as well. There's one here YouTube's going to recommend, which you might find useful. Then there's another one here.
Yeah, so we download, so I'm not seeing it. But definitely, let me give you the link to his brother's stuff. And maybe we'll message him. If he has time, he's always welcome to jump on. Where's his page? There we go. I think this is it. I'm going to put his name. I think it's Ela Wanda. Probably said that wrong. If I did, shame on me. Let me give you links to his page. So go follow that brother. I'll go and comment some stuff on this page as well. Yeah, so what was the question he asked, which I guess the sister was trying to answer, is why do you think that is? I think the sister gave an example of like not trusting the system, but as she can jump in, sis. You just know your time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess I'm of the mindset that I still view those as marriages. There just aren't legal marriages. And then I would want to know what is the emphasis of having this legal marriage, or what's the benefit of having it recorded by your local jurisdiction? Because if it's about having a marriage, having a mom and dad, raising children, bringing those tangible and intangible assets that he was speaking of, I think those things happen in long-term committed cohabitating relationships that aren't recorded by the government. And I think that rightly or wrongly, Black people, wherever we are in the world, right, definitely have issues with trusting these systems. So I go to the courthouse and I get our marriage recorded. How does that affect me? How does that affect her? How does this affect our children? Should we do this? Should we not do this? What are they doing with this information? You know, I think that it's warranted for there to be some level of concern or fear or worry or whatever you want to call it, because I hear this in America. I see people literally making strong arguments. So when you make an argument about, oh well, if you're not married, then what about if the one person passes away? People say you can have a living will, you can have this, you can, have beneficiaries to certain things. Like they will put things in place, but not go the route of being married, so to speak, right? So I think that Black people may question how it actually benefits them to be legally married as opposed to having long-term commitments and having this emphasis on family, and I think in those things, I think that's where it gets foggy for me.
Would you say? Would you say? Would are you referring to a commitment as in a man and a husband, a father and mother in the same vicinity raising your children? Is that you talking about that process?
I mean, father, mother, all living under the same roof,
Right. So yeah,
working, raising
either
their children. Yeah, like having everything except for going to the courthouse. Like every, like if it's possible for one another to be on the other person's health insurance, they do that. Sharing bills, merging families, and all of those, everything that he was mentioning outside of involving the government. It's kind of the same thing with child support. People, just because someone isn't paying child support doesn't mean they're not taking care of their children. But I think that a lot of times when we have these conversations, that is implied. So if a woman isn't married, that means she's single. No, that's not the case at all. There's so many uncles that I grew up with that I thought that they were married because a woman would say, my auntie would say, that's my husband. I thought they were married. Like I grew up with these men being in these women's lives for 30 plus years. They just ain't go down to the courthouse. You see what I'm saying? So like for me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% accurate.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see because I think the stats he showed. I think he was showing marriage and people living in the same environment. So yeah, for me, so if the question is what is the benefits of marriage, I'm assuming it will be like inheritance, like unquestionable inheritance to the assets of the person dying, right? I'm assuming that's the benefits, that when you die, there can be
Mm-hmm.
no other claims on what your husband or
But
your
you can
wife
have a
owns for
will.
you to inherit. Hmm. So yeah, Kohab. So here's the image. So I assume Kohab must mean they're not married, but they live in the same building, right? Oh, split and interact. Okay, so this is what does Kohab mean? Is that
Cohabitating, living
I don't
together.
know what that means. Right,
It means
right.
that they
So
live together.
intact couples. So he's
I'm
saying
not
that
seeing. I'm not seeing
couples
what
who
you're
are
seeing.
split
If
live.
you're seeing something else, brother, I'm not. We're seeing married.
Oh,
We're seeing the bar graph.
Kohab. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at. I'm trying to work out what it is.
Okay, so
As in what
intact
it means. As in,
couples meaning that they're actually in a relationship. They're together, and then a
yeah.
split couple because with this current economic place that we're in, I knew people who were actually split up, but they couldn't afford to live separate, so they remained living under the same roof. And to me, that's more dysfunction than not living under the same roof, but kind of co-parenting and even being together and being loving. Like if you're not together but you're living under the same roof, that could be really weird for the kids. I don't know.
so was this because was this chart the one you showed here about the kids' mental health, and the higher the worse? I'm assuming, right? So I guess what this chart shows is if a person is married officially and together and live in the same roof, by this chart, what he was saying is showing that there's less mental challenges on the children. While if they're not married but live in the same roof, it's better. But if they're married but split and live together, that's a problem. And if they're not married and split, so I think that's what this is showing. I could be wrong, but
What
I
does
think
the
that's
pink
what he.
and the purple represent? Can you see on your end?
That's a good point. What is is that man and woman? Or well, yeah, what does that represent? That's a good
I
point.
don't know what the pink and what the purple represents.
Maybe,
Because like, so for instance, like,
uh,
so for instance, like, when we look at mental health, right? Um, I guess because by nature of what I do, I can kind of look at more of the nuances within mental health. So obviously, if someone meets the criteria for a mental health disorder, that is really poor, right? But so on here it has being an intact couple that is cohabitating. Oh no, it has a split couple that is uh still married, right? For me, I would feel like that is very, very dangerous for a child's mental health. Um, so like for instance, I had a girlfriend and I remember her telling me that she was of African heritage, like continental African, and she would be considered a split couple that was still married and cohabitating. They still live under the same roof. They were split, meaning her children witnessed their father leaving the home for days at a time, clearly having extramarital affairs. Um, Her children also was able to see how, like her son saw my dad did this to my mom. This is being a husband. This is being a father. He paid for school trips. He paid for this. All of those things her children experience. And there are some who feel like that's way better than the absence of the father in the home and them not witnessing that. So to me, it's very subjective because to me, that's impacting a child's mental health, in my opinion. But
Correct.
for others, it's not.
Well, is this chart not saying that? So is this chart not saying that uh, the mental? I'm assuming red and pink is boys and girls. Let's just assume they're saying that if couples are split up but they live together, right? That
Hmm.
the child is experiencing high levels of trauma, while
Hmm.
they're
But they're
split up.
experiencing more trauma if their parents are just cohabitating. That's what it's saying. That the
Mhm.
marriage part decreases decreases some of their mental trauma. You see what it's saying? If they're split couples who don't who cohabitate and split couples who I'm assuming cohabitate and are married because you wouldn't be married and not live together. I don't it's kind of like unless you have something to go with the graph, what we're doing right now is we're adding to the graph because it says married and cohabitate. So do the married people live together?
Well, let's see what let's listen to him one more time.
Hmm.
Is it muted?
And I was talked about the pooling of the resources. The pooling of the family resources takes place as well. And they're able to work together, unite one another, unite together. And that's the foundation for a community. That's the foundation for a healthy society. And of course, marriages create a safe space for children to be nurtured in. Let's look at some of the life outcomes for children based on whether or not their parents were married or not married or cohabiting. You might be surprised by some of these figures. So these are figures from the Millennium Cohort Study. This is a large scale study in the UK where they're following thousands of people over several years. That's what a cohort study is when you follow a group of people throughout their life or for over many decades to see what kinds of things happen in their lives. And this research paper looks at whether or not children whose parents were married, cohabiting or never married had higher or lower levels of mental health problems. So among those children whose parents had stayed together, those parents who had been married, around about 1 in 5, so 20% of children had a high level of mental health problems, any mental health problems. Amongst those parents who stayed together but were cohabiting, that goes up to between 25% and 30%. Even where parents had stayed together, if they were cohabiting, the children were more likely to have a high level of mental health problems than if the parents had been married. And then you look at those children who had split up. What's really interesting for me here is that even amongst those parents who had split up, the children whose parents had been married before they split up, yes, it's higher than if the parents had stayed together. About 1 in 3 of those had a high level of mental health problems. But that's only slightly higher than even those children whose parents had stayed together but were only cohabiting. And then you look at of course, as you'd expect, amongst those children whose parents had split up and whose parents had only been cohabiting when they were together, it goes right the way up to nearly 40% of children having a high level of mental health problems. So these data make it really clear that marriage is very good for children. As I said at the top, in my opinion, this is one of the most important factors behind our problems as Black people here.
If the brother isn't too busy, we can invite him to
Yeah,
discuss, our approach
I
here.
have more understanding of what he's talking about now.
And also
After listening
the
to
colors.
it,
Yeah.
go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
The colors represent boys and girls. They showed it in the graph. So yeah, there you go, boys and girls right there. So
So
that's what the
purple
colors
is
represent.
boys.
Well, blue, I assume that's blue, but we could say it's purple. Yeah, purple is
Oh,
boys
I
and
mean,
pink.
on my phone it looks purple. I don't know how you see it.
It looks purple, but I'm assuming it's meant to be blue. But that's me being stereotypical, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I see the legend on the far right now. Now that we are
Yeah.
looking, I see the legend. Um, I I actually would, and this is like my little just personal little pet peeve, I guess, with when people are using data, right? So let's just go with people who are having an intact couple that is cohabitating, right? So they're not married, they're just cohabitating. You see where on the chart that you have, wait, it just changed. But the the rate of mental health is, and I would be extremely curious to find out, right? At what point would that be if the two people who were cohabitating, you have man and woman, are both six-figure earners, right? Who could provide the level of enrichment activities for their children, who could provide the level of, social, emotional supports within their school system. They can provide all of the things that supposedly married people are able to provide for their children, as well as they're cohabitating. The only thing they have not done is gone to, at least in America, is the courthouse. You go to your local courthouse and you apply for a marriage certificate and you get that. So the children, even if the husband was to call him his wife and she calls him her husband, right? The children wouldn't know that they're not legally married. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm saying that to me, marriage is almost equivalent to be a certain financial situation, right? Like a single mom is assumed to struggle financially to be able to provide less for her child. But what if that single mom is a physician, a doctor who makes 250K a year? You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like in reality, like it looks a lot different than if we just look if we exclude finances. So right now the only variable he's looking at is married or not married. But two broke people being married and two affluent people cohabitating, I would be very interested. Let me say that. I'm not telling you what the outcome is. I would be very interested in what those numbers would look at in the trajectory of having mental health concerns if you had two affluent people cohabitating versus two people who are broke, who are married, and their children, and the potential for mental health issues. Like that to me actually speaks to the issues. And this right here is like it's like part of it's like seeing only part of a beautiful picture or any sort of.
Yeah, so I think I was talking to another group before, and there is like a whole movement of people who they don't believe in marriage as a concept, and I guess so. In those kind of concepts, it's identifying what is it, what is the value in the marriage that someone's describing. So, I think we're talking about assets being, claims. People talk about wills, and then there's also being present in the children's life. So when they come home or you're in the same building and they see positive interactions between parents. So whether it's a marriage or cohabitation, I think that's the concept where close proximity to children, close proximity to family, building, and witnessing, things in a safe environment where everyone's there. And so that's what I'm taking from. So I assume whether you're cohabiting or you're married and you're constructive, that's better than if you're married or cohabitive and separated. So so I don't know. I think the value they're saying there is how men and women in unison working as a team is beneficial economically and I guess from a child's standpoint, a child's health, mental health, well-being. So I think that's what the gentleman's trying to get at. I could assume so. All right. So family, I'm just gonna test my screen sharing again because I think I've worked out why my machine is slowing down. I'm gonna do it one more time and see if it slows down again. So let's see, it opens up. Wait, move that there. Oh, you know what? Is it slowing down now? All right, cool. Let me yeah, it is that function. It's that function. Look, because look at that. It's drastically showing. Oh, I'm gonna have to have a solution for this now, family. I'm gonna have to start using the other software. I'm gonna have to run some tests. We had some other one before. Yeah, so the ghost. If you can see the screen, you notice my my mouse is just floating how it wants, and that is literally because we have the screen share on. And now when I turn it off, Granddad, come on. Now, let me turn that up. Come on. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. This is like I'm doing the whole Columbo thing. I'm working out why my machine for the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks is, and I'm wondering if that could be a StreamYard or an operating system thing. I'm gonna have to Google that now. At least I've got some kind of thing. I'm almost there. Man, this is tedious. But family, today's topic is Black marriage. We discuss if higher marriage rates in the Black community can improve collective betterment and useful definitions, complete versus casual Black betterment. We discuss the difference between what is complete Black betterment and what is casual. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question, brother Raven?
Can.
So, are you married?
I'm not married, no.
Okay. So when you decide to have I'm going to say a committed, cohabitating relationship with a woman and choose to build a family, do you feel that it is best to go through the government to solidify or validate or document that family in the means of a legal marriage?
Yeah, so for me, as long as my wife, myself, and my children are protected, whatever option there is, I could go.
What do you mean protected?
So if something was happened to me, no one could come and take my assets away from my family.
So what I'm saying is that so if you were able to protect your assets without being legally married, would that be sufficient for you?
It would be, yeah. That could be. As long as everyone agrees, and
Okay,
like
so I legally, like recently, I actually got a will done in which if something were to happen to me, my property would go to my child, right? Because I am not legally married, but I could have named anyone in that place, right? I could have named, Raven, right? And then upon my demise, you would get a phone call or email or some sort of communication to say, hey, there is this property that was left by Melanated Goddess to you and is here and free for you to claim it, right? So I'm saying that if you were able to leave property, investments, have a beneficiary to certain accounts, right? That you have resources saved up for. What are those things called? Safety deposit boxes, like all that kind of stuff, right? If you were able to leave that to your women and children, without having to apply for a marriage certificate, then the importance or the urgency to do that is kind of lessened. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear that. And like I said, when I talk about marriage, there's always different angles and stuff, and there's the one there's from the perspective of say pro-blackness and stuff, the community. There's not trust in the government and want to go through a Babylon system, and then from I
Right.
guess from a manosphere system, it's not trusting the woman in the sense of this is this is a suicide for a man to marry a woman.
I get that
So
too.
I've always looked at why marriages might be problematic, and I see both those arguments. Right, bad for a man, that manosphere, and Babylon have so much control. Number two, this kind of stuff. Yes,
Right.
yeah. For me,
So
as
which
long as my
so on for
family,
you?
for me, as long as my family are protected, the option that is most safe and protects the family will be always be a good one.
So like this is just my own like guys that I have like thought about it under. If a man is a more entrepreneurial minded person, right? Meaning he doesn't work for the government, he doesn't work for the hospital, he doesn't work for the school system, he doesn't whatever, right? Um, it's less important to be married because when you work for those systems, they're very specific on who could be a beneficiary. So for some of those systems, it has to be a spouse.
Right.
It's like spouse or children. And so you don't have too much wiggle room on protection, right? So um, here in America, we have a system, something called Social Security, right? So Social Security is basically a benefit that you earn through employment. So you pay your taxes, you work, and once you reach a certain age, based off of how much you've worked and how much you've earned, there's a specific calculator, and it decides how much you would be entitled to get when you retire. Now, when you die, your spouse gets what's called survivor benefits. Again, this is for people you're like Ultra Funky. You know Ultra Funky. He drives the bus, right? These are for people who have these more service oriented uh, uh, positions. These aren't for your person who, hey, I make handbags, I sell handbags. Handbags are my thing, and when I die, the government is gonna no, the government's not paying you Social Security for selling handbags. You see what I'm saying? It's more for people who have had these more non-entrepreneurial service types of employment, right?
Mm.
So I feel like marriage is definitely the thing to do, like legal marriage. Legal marriage is the thing to do for those sort of people because that allows them to at least make better use of those entitlements that they're able to get. But I feel like for the more entrepreneurial people, I feel like having wills and beneficiaries and things like that could fulfill the same things that a marriage can give, and you just aren't married. Like if Donald Trump wasn't married to Ivania Trump, she would still be able to be entitled to the things that she's entitled to now, as long as it was in legal form via a beneficiary on his life insurance, beneficiary on any other insurances. Her name was there's nothing that she wouldn't get. It's like
So
you see what I'm saying?
I hear that, sister. So if you had to have, what word could you use that is inclusive of whether a person is married or not married, but live together raising a family? What word is that?
whether they're legally married or not legally married, I would say that they are uh,
Union.
yeah, a civil union. That's kind of a civil union where they are agreeing upon sharing a life together and um, agreeing upon all of the affairs, right? So, like, if you're my boyfriend and you got a bill, you on your own. But when I'm like, yeah, we are in a civil union, then your debt can be tied to my debt, right? So let's look at some of the um, legislation and so forth with the LGBTQ, right? These people are able to put their partners on their health insurance now, right? So you can have two women who say that they live together, right? And now you can put that woman in on your health insurance and pay for her to go to the doctor when she feels sick, right? How is that different than when it's a man and a woman? You see what I'm saying? Like it's like it's this stuff, this has been already in place. It's just that black people who have had Tuskegee experiments against them and this, that against them and all this stuff, they're so afraid of the system, in my opinion. Right? I get the whole manosphere thing and all that kind of stuff, but they're just so afraid of the system. They're like, I don't want how I take care of my kids to be recorded. I don't want no white man telling me how much I gotta pay to take care of my kids. And I don't want no white man telling me my relationship is not legitimate. Right? So there are a good portion of us that, actually, I don't know. Are you familiar with Born Rich?
The speaker. Yeah, I've heard him speak. Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
Born Rich will tell you his mother and father were never married and they were together for 40 something years. All of his life, his like till his father or passed away, all he knows is mother and father being together. You see what I'm saying? It is like how it is in black culture. Like they don't go, they jump over a broom, and they hold to these traditions. Like they not going to the courthouse to say we together. They raise their child, mother, father, grandparents knowing each other, as the whole family together. He had a stable two-parent household. And until you probably get older and you learn about really what marriage is, you don't even know your parents aren't married.
so
I'm
would
just
you?
saying that.
Because I said, so would you say that's the norm then? Would you say that? Because you're obviously saying the data.
I'm saying that that is going according to the statistic. I would say that's probably the case for about 50% of the case, right? So like I would say one of my girlfriends, her child is, I don't know, he's 17 or something like that. He's in high school, 17, 16, right? To his knowledge, his parents have always been together, right? His father became a father figure to his two older sisters, who both of them knew their fathers, but they embraced this man as a father figure, and they have not, they don't have profound mental health issues, being having a step parent, right? They have had a male figure in their life all of their lives, right? Actually, at the oldest, at her graduation from high school, she had both of her fathers. She called my two dads. This is how she talked. Like she's had double the parental or a male figure in her life, because she had her stepdad who been there 10 years plus, and then her father. You know what I'm saying? So her biological father. So like this representation of our children experiencing, and I'm not negating the overwhelming data that is like single parent households, da, 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 da. I'm not trying to say that that's not true, but I am saying that when data is captured, right, how research is presented, right, does omit other variables that do impact. So
I hear that.
in this man's data, he's using the variables of married versus non-married, cohabitating versus non-cohabitating, but he's not incorporating the variable of socio-economic status. That's a huge variable that is correlated to mental health. You know what I'm saying? Poverty versus non-poverty is a huge socioeconomic, a huge variable that impacts mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't
Thanks for that,
incorporate
sister.
that. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think the data he was looking at did that. But I think remember when you change that metrics, it will affect all the other groups as well. But does any brother Dominic said, does anyone have any reasons why they think black people, especially Caribbean people, marry out of any race? Marry the least out of any race. Wait a minute. Marry the least out of any other race. So any people want to talk about that, let me know. Now I'm just testing. I got some pictures of black love on
So
Google. Wait.
I'm going to
My
answer
machine
Brother
is working.
Dominic and say that my melanated's response is a distrust of the system, right? As the Caribbean people versus continental Africans, right? When you look at Caribbean people are the descendants of enslaved, the descendants of people who were kidnapped. So I'm going to say that they have more reason to distrust a system versus continental Africans who experience more harshness, more detriment from people that actually look like them. So this is a dichotomy that we really have to face on a lot of different areas outside of just being married, like continental Africans viewing their view on the Muzungu versus the diasporan, how they see the Muzungu. Sometimes we just see them differently, and so they embrace some of their ways and their strategies and a lot quicker than people who already experienced their hardships, and they're like, nah, I don't know, like we're a lot less trusting and that's just my opinion. You can agree, disagree, or whatever.
So I was talking to myself. My thing's been muted. Thank you for that, sister. Yeah, you do see a lot of distrust, more so from people who are descendants of enslaved people. Take or give. So obviously, in America, the African American community probably were the most vocal about the interactions between Europeans and Africans historically. Well, I think in the UK, the Caribbeans play that role more. That's the Caribbeans are the primary. There obviously every other groups that do, but you see primary is people of Caribbean descent. Especially if you look at Speaker's Corner, you'll see that definitely that play down, right? And I think that it's that awareness and that lineage. But others can speak and see what they're saying. So, family, any questions? The thing is, this is I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to work out what slow my machine because I'm using this thing here, right? And the machine is running very smooth, so it must be. It is the share screen. No, it is the image I'm using, and maybe it's because it's like 25 gigabytes or megabytes of size. So maybe what I need to do is I need to make a streamlined version of that and test that.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm really liking these images that I see on the screen. But I don't know if that means that your screen is working or not working. But
No,
I
what's
can see
happening?
you search like Black Love or something like that, and there's some
Yeah.
those are beautiful images. Like I love it.
So this is a Google search for Black Love. I'm testing the function if it slows my machine down to share it, but and because it doesn't, that means that the PDF I upload to do the document the show must be slowing down the function. That's why I've had this ghost imagery for the last couple of weeks. Something is maybe getting too big
Is
or
it the
something.
whatever the megabytes? Is it
Yeah,
too
it must be because
too much?
yeah, it must be because I think it's 26 megabytes. I have to check. I have to run a test to see, but yeah, it doesn't matter. This is technical stuff, but either way, it's always good to see black couples and black love. Very important.
Absolutely, but I get it. Like trying to be a content creator. This you are validating. Unfortunately, the reasons why Melanated hasn't delved into like actual content creation because it looks like a lot of freaking work, bro. Like this
Yeah,
is, and I'm so not a technical person. If I was you, I would have just been like, okay, peace and black power. The stream is over. Like I would have given up because I'm not a very IT technical person. Like I need help to put up damn surround sound in my house. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm horrible. I'm horrible when it comes to that.
Well, hopefully I can go through some of the challenges. So whenever I want to start, I can give them the easiest process, the cheapest, easiest process.
So do
But
you
yeah,
need a Mac? Tell the truth, brother. Do I need a Mac? Like if I wanted to like get into content creation, I can't do that up on a PC. I gotta get a Mac. 'Cause that's
no,
like learning a new
no,
language.
no. Have you got a laptop or a desktop?
Um, I'm about
Have
to
you?
sound so horrible right now, but to be honest with you, I'm one of those people that use my work computer like it's mine.
Right. Well, at home, at work.
So right now I don't have a computer because I had to give it back to them, but I'll get it back in August. So I do have a desktop though. Let me not act crazy. I have a home computer. I could start using it. I don't even know what the specs on it are. To be honest with you, it's just like a monitor that has the computer in it or something like that.
Mm,
And it has Windows. So
right.
do you think you could be an efficient content creator with something like that? Or no? It needs to be
Well,
like
at the level of the speakers corner community, yes. So all the shows that you go on, like that you jump on, you can, because all you need is a means to talk
mhm.
and I guess listen, right? I think you can, for the most part, you can even do that on the phone, but it's tedious. Yeah. So, but if you wanted to have like a proper studio with proper equipment, you will have to invest money. But yeah, I don't know how
Okay.
much things cost in So I don't know how much PCs cost in America, but you should be able to get the cheapest one. So here, the cheapest one would be like £200, which is probably 200 pounds, which is probably like maybe two. It might be $200 to be honest. The way the economy is.
Well, 200 pounds would probably be like 130. I mean, 230
Yeah.
dollars. Because I think your pound is a little stronger than our dollar. So you can add maybe 30 to 50 more
Hmm.
to it. But for me, that's reasonable, you know. But so I would try what I already have. But I kind of was thinking, oh, I don't have enough. I thought everyone's talked about they have a Mac. Everyone has like a Mac. Everyone's talking about like you need to have a Mac, but I don't understand how to use Apple. It's so different. It's crazy.
Once you get something new, you can just YouTube it, and Mac's more efficient. But yeah, we can always chop it up if you ever need advice. But I think Brother Dominic has
Okay.
asked, what ideas could we suggest to encourage marriage to the young generation? And when we say marriage, especially for the Black Caribbean. So the Brother Dominic's asking people listening and people on the panel, sisters and brothers on the panel, is what ideas could you use to encourage marriage? I think so. I think from a Black Betterment standpoint, the concept of how generational wealth works and ownership, like so obviously the sister says that you can get some of these things without marriage, but if we use marriage as a metaphor, as in guaranteeing that your family are together and that your family inherit the stuff you're doing, whatever word you want to use, how to maximize that. Because obviously for me, the thing is how to heighten the chances of black men becoming constructive and finding a black woman. And that's why even within the lifestyle we're promoting, it's a part of it. So a part of the we covered this week the complete version of Black Betterment. The black woman is included and the black man is included together, and that's pivotal. So that's the culture, that's the idea, that's what we're pushing. But the question is, family, what ideas could we suggest to encourage marriage to the young generation? I was also thinking, like in a wild, wacky way, in an alternate universe, whatever, that we when you have black business networks and Little Africa Town and this kind of stuff, you could have marriage incentive discounts in black businesses. So if someone is married or they have some kind of union certificate or a family certificate, whatever, they get that is that qualifies them for a discount card, like a marriage card or a union card.
I
And if
like the way you're using these words, Brother Raven. Like, because like one of my best friends recently married a woman from Gambia
right,
who's Muslim, and
okay,
there was no certificate. There was no, and for people to say that their marriage was less valid than someone else's marriage who went to the courthouse is kind of like, why? You see what I'm saying? So like the fact that you're incorporating this term of union to me is like more of an openness of seeing black families and black marriage in a more open and not a it has to be through I live in Birmingham. I'm gonna go to the Birmingham courthouse and file for the government to recognize my relationship. I feel like that's a huge step. But if I could encourage, how other communities study us, right? I do see value in studying other communities. So if anyone who's listening chooses to, because it's in line with this topic, that's the only reason I'm suggesting this. I do like reality TV. There is a show called Jewish Matchmaker. If you were to, it's on Netflix. If you were to watch, I don't know, maybe it's like 10 episodes, but if you were to watch the way in which Jewish people find partners, I truly feel so. There's one that's Jewish matchmaker, and then there's another one that's the Indian matchmaker.
right,
I watched both of those because I started to get very interested in how they chose their mates, why they chose their mates, who was involved in this mate selection. Like it is like we need this. I'm sorry. When to answer Dominique's question, we need to have a structured system of one, what is the criteria for marriage, and then how we go about getting to that point. It is phenomenal if we were to throw some curry slash Scotch bonnet on that joint, some jollof in there. You feel me? Like we was to throw our African sauce on that and have our.
So wait a minute. So I'm just so I'm this Jewish matchmaker. It's a Netflix show, and the idea is to singles in the United States and Israel turn their dating lives over to the Jewish matchmaking. Azi Ben Shalom, a plan hopes of traditional. So okay, so people is it they go there to find someone, or once they found someone?
So this woman. So the person whose channel, whose show it is, right? So these people have profiles. They submit their profile. She might have 3, 4, 500 people, right? I don't think she has like thousands, but let's just say she got 500 people that trust her. So I'm looking for a man that is, 5'10" and up. He's interested in agriculture, living off grid. Da, 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 da. I have a dog. I like pets. I'm into mental health. This is what I look like. This is so so let's say from our perspective, let's say I put in my profile, I am actually a Yoruba priestess, right? I'm a Yoruba priestess. I'm into Ifa, ba 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 ba, right? Then they wouldn't put me with the Hebrew Israelite. You see what I'm saying? So in our black marriage pairing, they would they would pull me and look at all of the men that are, let's say, at least open to Ifa, practice Ifa, initiated, blah blah blah, right? Then she would say, "Hey, I have found 4 eligible men. This is what they look like. This is how tall they are. This is how many children they have. This is whatever." I would, and then she would say, "Who do you want to go on a date with?" I go on a date. She gives you rules for the date. You're not going on a date, smashing on the first date. You're not doing this. So, like for the Jewish people, some of them, they don't even touch, not even a hug, not a handshake or nothing. They don't, like, depending on their level of devoutness in their Jewishness, she pairs them to what their behavior will be out on the dating. But when they go on their first date, they know that they are dating a potential spouse. It is not, hey, I'm gonna see who's gonna be my boyfriend. No, who's gonna be my fiance? Like that is from the first date. They know they're going on this date for a match, for marriage. I'm saying that's how we, as in our community, we could move towards. So I was watching this and learning, like, wow, like basically when they say chewing the meat and spitting out the bones, like, hey, it doesn't have to be religious. It could be cultural. It could be, I am Jamaican. I would prefer someone who's from one of the islands, or it could be, hey, I am Muslim but I'm from West Africa. I would prefer someone who is West African and Muslim. Like whatever the criteria is, that matchmaker or that system that we develop could have those paradigms, those specifications built into it. Is what I'm saying is like we could. I'm just saying, watch it. Watch some of the different episodes and see how it varies depending on the couple and depending on their specific needs. It was good.
So I've looked it up. So it's a franchise from Netflix. It started with the Indian. There's that few seasons, and now they've made a spin-off to Jewish. So it would be interesting if they did a black one, or if a black person ran a concept like that. It sounds like a good idea. But before we go there, brother Dominic's a few questions from him. He said, the difference with these cultures is that they are together, unlike us. Like Raven says, we are collectively inadequate. We should encourage marriage young in the 20s because most men don't consider marriage till very late, and then by then they're too used to not being married. They're used to not thinking about marriage. Imagine a whole demographic that's married. If most of us is married, then our mindset will be together as a collective. Single people have an individual mindset. Yeah, very true. So it's that concept of activities you can do to create collective mindsets, and marriages and unions and the long-term kind of concept with building with your partners is a part of that process. And a game show is a good idea. And like I said, you would have all the technicality, like, you're a black Yoruba, you want to marry a Yoruba or a Muslim or whatever it might be, and all the and all the participants, you join it, and then try to find your love. This is obviously this hypothetically thinking of concepts and ideas in the media, and we did see the quote from this brother here. So we're talking about
Casual entertainment.
What would be your comments on some of the newcomers, Spike Lee?
Hold on.
Justice. When I walk out of that movie, thanks to the life of Malcolm,
let's go back,
and leave you with nothing. If I go to see a film on Malcolm X, when I walk out of that movie, I must have more hatred of injustice. When I walk out of that movie, thanks to the life of Malcolm X, I must seek to transform myself to make myself more perfect, as did Malcolm X. If I walk out of any film that I saw on Malcolm X, I do not have more hatred against injustice. I do not see the necessity to transform myself to a more perfect human being to serve my people. I did not see a film on Malcolm X.
So yeah, so to use that as a side analogy, if we're gonna have a show about marriage and stuff, it's you like this is says constructive, purposeful, and like Dominic's saying, the more we see it, the more it culturally inspires, and showing the success rate of that. Just like the whole economics things, like you had that the show where that guy, the British guy, he goes all around the world and he helps businesses get off their feet or something, like restaurants, where you could have a black version of that, where black economic version, where a host goes to these struggling black businesses and gives them a head up, and rebrands them or whatever it might be, but it's showing the importance of economics and all that kind of good stuff. Let's see what Brother Dominic is also saying. He's saying, have I missed anything? Even who were together married, their mindset. Me that I say one day I'll get married, or we'll see about marriage. Trust me, they'll never get married. So yeah, so family, we are coming towards the end of our show. I mean, we've tried to work out what's been wrong with my speed, and I think we worked it out. It's the shift functionality. So I'm going to run some tests on stuff. But if there's any questions anyone wants to ask before we go, any last words from Menley Goddess, let me know. I have to now work out how to fix this issue for next week. But sister, any things you'd like to talk about, or last things before we kick?
No, I think I like the way things are closing off on like the honing in on the desire to have some sort of systematic way. So, shout out to Brother Dominic, that's a very important part. And I think that I don't necessarily feel like if we're going to live in the West, that especially not early 20s, maybe like late 20s, but I think that people are, still establishing values and spirituality and political alignments and like all these different things that do affect the family. So I don't know if that's the ideal stage, maybe late 20s. I probably could agree with late 20s, but I feel like there being some level of something that's systematic that they could say, you know what, this dating scene sucks. I'm going to have the elders choose or at least have input in this. I'm going to, a man is not going to propose unless this is in place. A woman is not going to accept unless she's able to do. And she's like all of those, the training, the prep work, for that. We need to like systematize that so that marriage is not a negative thing,
Yes.
and marriage is more so viewed as like integral for our progression. That's kind of my last words. But peace, everyone. Peace, everyone in the U.S. and the U.K. Wherever you are in this global black world that we're in. Peace and love.
Peace, sister. Thanks for the contribution. Big up, Brother Dominic. The problem with the marriage of black people, especially Caribbean people, is on the men, not women. Most women, white, black, Asian, want marriage. Black men are the ones with the issue with marriage. There you go. So yeah, we want to discuss meaningful marriage and unions, that systematic concept as well. But family, I'm gonna end the show now and fix some of these issues for next week. So let me jump in now. But any last things from big up sisters She Rain, Brother Kel, Brother Dominic, obviously Melanie Goddess for jumping on, and anyone else who's listening in the future time now. and hopefully we'll contact some of the brothers. We had their videos and invite them at some point if they're free to talk about their data and the importance of marriages and unions and this kind of stuff. But until then, family, Black Betterment to all, and to all Black Betterment. All right, have a good one. Peace. Let me fix